Discover the incredible hidden dancer who inspired life-changing transformations for a billionaire. In a town struggling to find its footing, the air crackled with an electric mix of hope and desperation. Sam, a humble janitor, moved across the sticky dance studio floor, his mop gliding like a dancer pirouetting to the faint echoes of laughter. He watched from the sidelines, heart aching and alive every time the children twirled under the soft glow of the sunlight filtering through the window. At 35, life had woven a thick tapestry of work, family expectations, and dreams deferred, yet within him stirred a passion for dance he kept well hidden. The fleeting moments when music played, he could almost see himself twirling amid applause, a stark contrast to the monotonous rhythm of sweeping floors. Each kick and turn in his mind echoed what he longed to express. He tucked the yearning deeply into his heart, fearing disapproval from the loving yet practical family that counted on him to remain grounded. But oh, how he dreamed! Then one autumn day, the buzz of excitement swept through the town with the arrival of billionaire tech mogul, David Walker. He rolled in with the glint of wealth and success overshadowing a deeper isolation. Surrounded by glitz yet cut off from genuine connection, David felt suffocated. But a chance encounter at a local street fair changed everything. There, in the midst of laughter and light, Sam danced, his soul spilling into every movement, spinning out that raw, unfiltered emotion that spoke of life and longing. David, hidden in plain sight, stood transfixed. Never had he seen such authenticity, so alive and real, cutting through the numbing echo of his luxurious cage. Sam's dance ignited something within him, a flicker of connection that neither man expected. As their unlikely friendship blossomed, Sam revealed the heavy weight he carried, the dreams snugly packed beneath his responsibilities, buried, yet flickering with life. "I want to dance, it's all I've ever wanted," he confessed, his voice trembling. David's heart tightened. He began to see a canvas of values painted in a community resilient against adversity, worth far more than any corporation could understand. But their burgeoning friendship faced a looming threat. David's plans to develop a tech hub would raise the very dance studio that nurtured generations. Sam's heart sank as he realized what was at stake, not only his dreams but the essence of the town itself. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As whispers of closure surrounded the community, Sam felt the panic rise. With urgency blooming in his chest, he devised a daring plan, a performance to capture the town's heartbeat, unite his neighbors, and raise awareness of the impending threat. Rehearsals commenced amid arguments and tears, frustration bubbling like a pot on the verge of boiling over. Yet with each pirouette, Sam poured his essence into the performance. But just as hope flickered, doubt crept in, whispering cruelly. Sam stood alone, heart racing as he faced the community, full of uncertainty. Would his hidden talents finally burst forth into the light, or would fear seal away his dreams forever, leaving a void that could never be filled? The night of transformation drew closer, and with it, the edge of possibility hung like a taut string, ready to snap. The night of the performance arrived, thick with tension and anticipation. A soft hum of chatter floated through the air, punctuated by laughter and the rustle of programs being handed out. The community gathered, faces illuminated by the warm glow of string lights, each person eager yet anxious, whispering of hope and dreams rebirthed. Sam paced behind the curtains, his heart pounding in tandem with the rhythm of the music echoing from the studio. Costumed children twinkled with excitement, and the murmurs of the audience seeped through the wood, wrapping him in a sense of nervous energy. Despite the support around him, self-doubt gnawed at his insides. What if he stumbled? What if his moment was eclipsed by everything he feared? Through the cracks in the curtain, he caught glimpses of familiar faces, some filled with eager pride, others with an unmistakable flicker of skepticism. But then his gaze landed on David. The billionaire stood slightly apart, his silvery hair catching the light, a look of determination etched across his features. That connection surged back to the moment when Sam sparked something inside him, a moment when everything felt possible. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could do the same tonight. The thumping of a bass line began, signaling the show's start. Sam took a deep breath, his fingers brushing against the rough fabric of his costume, grounding him in the here and now. The curtains parted, spilling light onto the stage, illuminating the transformative space that had been a sacred refuge for so many. With each beat, he stepped forward, merging into the choreography like a wave meeting the shore, every movement a shout against the silence of untold dreams. As he danced, the fear slipped away, replaced by the weightlessness of pure expression. He poured every ounce of his yearning into those steps, the memories of his hidden passion swirling around him. The audience remained transfixed. Gasps of surprise mingled with soft cheers as he twirled and leaped, each leap carrying the essence of struggle and hope. Children followed his movements as if they were brushing against stardust. Sam let himself imagine, no, truly believe that he was dancing for them, for every dream deferred, every life untouched by fear. David watched with wide eyes, the subtle sheen of tears glimmering at the corners. He was witnessing the embodiment of resilience. Sam was not just dancing, he was telling a story, weaving a thread that tied everyone to their dreams, their community. Then it happened. A slight misstep. Sam's foot caught awkwardly on the edge of the stage. Time seemed to freeze as he stumbled, the world narrowing down to that single moment, heart racing in disbelief. He felt every pair of eyes on him, holding their breaths as he flailed for balance. Yet somehow he found it. With a graceful recovery and an expansive leap, he turned the stumble into a breathtaking spin, an offering of humility and strength. The audience erupted into applause, a wave of sound that filled the studio. Love bloomed like wildflowers across cracks in the pavement. Sam's heart soared. He wasn't just dancing for himself anymore. He danced for everyone, for the final fight against destruction. The realization struck within him: genuine moments of vulnerability can reshape the world. And as the final notes hung in the air, the audience rose, a chorus of support, a promise that the dance studio would fight to survive, and so would he. That night marked not just a performance but the dawn of change. But what would happen when David was faced with the decision that could alter everything? The rush of applause faded, and Sam, breathless and euphoric, caught David's gaze. The weight of the billionaire's silence loomed heavy, each second in eternity. What would he choose for the community, for Sam? The air seemed to thicken with unspoken possibilities, leaving Sam wondering if they could truly unite and save the dance studio together. The applause reverberated through the shadows of the studio, each clap like a heartbeat, a reminder that they were all alive, tethered together by this moment. Sam basked in the glow of the crowd, but his eyes remained anchored on David. The billionaire stood motionless, the applause flowing around him like water, but he seemed caught in a deeper current of thought. Sam felt a knot tighten in his stomach. What if this was the last night they were all together? As the lights began to dim, the hum of excitement slowly settled. Sam glanced at the children, still buzzing with adrenaline, their laughter sprightly and contagious. They truly believed in every leap he had taken. But as he listened for David's footsteps, the excitement dwindled, leaving a haunting echo of uncertainty. David finally shifted, stepping towards the stage, his face a mask of contemplation. Sam could hardly breathe. Was he proud? Ashamed? A million questions thrummed through his mind. Sam, David began, his voice barely rising above the fading cheers. What you just did, it was extraordinary. He crossed his arms, a gesture that seemed benign, yet his eyes held a storm of conflicting emotions. Thank you? Sam's voice wobbled slightly. I just wanted to show you that it's worth fighting for. The words tumbled out, raw and earnest. David looked around. There was so much life in this community, but could he feel it? Could he see the hope they held? Sam took a deep breath, gathering courage. This studio means everything to these kids. It means everything to me. We can save it together. You can lead the way. The silence thickened, wrapping around them, tightening like a coil ready to snap. David's brow furrowed, his mind racing. Sam caught a glimpse of the weight of the world pressing on his shoulders. Did he see it? Did he understand the magnitude of what was at stake? Sam, David said slowly, what if I told you I've been offered a huge opportunity, one that could change this community, but it requires leaving. Leaving here. Hearing those words, Sam's heart plummeted. His whole dream, everything he'd fought for, felt suddenly threatened. The dance studio stood at the very core of their community spirit. You can't walk away from this, David. It's not just a studio, it's a space where dreams happen. This place matters. David inhaled sharply, the struggle visible across his entire being. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let any of you down. But this opportunity, it could provide resources, funding. I don't care about funding. Sam's voice cracked, feeling the fire of desperation rise. We don't need another empty pledge. We need you. We need people who believe in us. You believed once. He implored David with wide eyes, searching for the glimmer of hope he had once sparked. David paused, and for a moment, the world hushed completely. The ache of silence hung between them, filled with choices yet to be made, dreams waiting to unfold. Sam's heart raced as he awaited David's response, the tension almost suffocating. And then, as if time collapsed entirely, David finally spoke. Sam, I want to help. But I need to know you're all in this fight too. Are you? The air felt electric, alive with possibility. It was a question that demanded everything from Sam, and he could already feel the weight of others hanging in the balance. Always, he replied, eyes steady. But can you believe enough for both of us? The audience, once a distant hum, now felt like a collective heartbeat, pumping for the outcome of this pivotal moment. As Sam held his breath, the reality of David's choice loomed larger than life. Would they fight this battle together, or would they be left to wonder what might have been? A spark had ignited, but would it flare into a wildfire that transformed everything, or flicker out, leaving them all in the dark? And just like that, everything hinged on one single question: what choice would David make? The weight of David's silence pressed against Sam's chest. He could almost feel the audience holding its collective breath. Time stretched, each second a mile, every heartfelt gaze a silent plea for David to choose hope over fear. The children, their innocent faces painted with anticipation, mirrored Sam's own unease. Sam reached out, the desperation spilling from him. This isn't just about saving a building. It's about giving these kids a chance to dream. They need to believe in something beyond the broken pieces they come from. David's eyes clouded, wrestling with the enormity of the decision that lay before him. Sam was pretty sure he could see the past lurking behind David's furrowed brow, memories colliding with potential futures. Would he abandon the community that pinned its hopes on him for the allure of something greater but distant? Change doesn't always look how we expect, David said finally, his voice wavering slightly. Sometimes, it means moving on, seeking something new. Sam felt a surge of frustration. But what if this is new? What if this studio can evolve? We have passion and heart here. You can lead us forward instead of away. We're begging you, don't leave us. David shook his head slightly, gaze shifting to the lights flickering above. It's not that simple, Sam. I have to think about the bigger picture. That bigger picture is right here. It's those kids, Sam insisted, gesturing toward the group of eager faces waiting for David's next words. This studio is their lifeline. You've taught them to dream. Don't you want to see where those dreams take us? The room seemed to thrum with unvoiced opinions, murmurs breaking like waves at the shore. A little girl stepped forward, clutching her stuffed bear, her eyes wide, innocent. Mr. David, please don't go. We need you. Sam needs you. David's expression softened, yet his internal war continued, visible in the tightening of his jaw. It was a pivotal moment, and Sam knew they all felt it, the air crackling not just with tension but with possibilities. Can't you see? Sam continued, his voice rising softly, drawing everyone in. Every single day we step into this place, we're creating something beautiful. Art, hope, community. It goes beyond just dance. You understand that more than anyone. You've felt it. You want more for these kids, don't you? Hesitation rippled across David's features. Sam sensed a crack forming within his resolve, a shift of fleeting memory, perhaps, of the energetic young man he used to be. And then, gradually, the light came back into David's eyes, a flicker of recognition sparking hope. He started, then hesitated again, his heart weighing heavier than his mind. I'm scared of failing all of you. What if we succeed? Sam countered, urgency lacing his words. What if together we build something far richer than any opportunity can offer? The applause in the background faded into hushed whispers, anticipation intermingling with dread. Sam held his breath, every heartbeat resonating with fear and hope alike. Suddenly, the realization hit him. This was more than a dance studio. This was about connection, belonging, community. This was about a legacy worth fighting for, and maybe, just maybe, it was about keeping David from walking away. Life gives us choices, David. Let us make this one count. The challenge hung in the air, every heartbeat echoing with promise. Sam could see the shift, the gears turning in David's mind. But would it be enough? As the lights dimmed further, David took a deep breath, the weight of the world still apparent on his shoulders. What he would ultimately decide would not only shape the future but alter the lives of those who depended on him. And for Sam, the moment became a sacred contract, his last chance to reconnect David's heart to this community. Are you ready to fight with us? He whispered, breaking the silence like a glass shattering, sparking urgency around them. Would David embrace the spirit of their quest, or would he turn his back on the dance that had so many intertwined lives? The answer hung tantalizingly in the air, so very close yet so uncertain. The tension in the air was palpable. Everyone held their breath, eyes locked on David as if he held the key to something greater than mere words. Sam could see the flicker of doubt in David's expression, wrestling like a tempest inside him. The crowd was alive with anticipation, and for a moment, it felt like the world had narrowed down to just the two of them. David's fingers twitched, betraying the turmoil beneath his calm facade. Sam, it's not just me I'm walking away from, he murmured, his voice barely a whisper but filled with weight. If I fail, it's not just my reputation that suffers. It's all of yours too. What if you fly? Sam's voice cracked with an urgency that resonated in the silence. What if we soar together? The little girl stood there, still clutching her bear, and her expression echoed the innocence that clawed at David's heart. He glanced at her, and for a fleeting moment, clarity broke through the fog of uncertainty. I remember when I was like you, David confessed, turning his gaze back to the crowd. All I wanted was someone to believe in me. A shadow crossed his face, memories intertwining with the present. Believe I could be more than my environment, more than the limits others placed on me. Yes. Exactly. Sam interjected, the thrill of hope intertwining with his nerves. You became that someone for these kids. You gave them the courage to dream. Now they're asking you to help them realize those dreams. The murmurs grew louder, voices calling out in support. Stay, Mr. David. We believe in you. It was like waves crashing against the shore, the unity of voices pulling on David's heart. Each plea stirred a deep part of him, igniting the flicker of passion and purpose he had almost forgotten in the fog of uncertainty. Sam watched David carefully, aware of the rising tide of emotions. He knew this was it, the moment where everything could shift. What if, he posed, eyes sparkling with inspiration, we open our doors to the community? A festival, an exhibition, anything. Show them just how potent the dreams can be when we stand together. David's brow furrowed with contemplation. A festival? Yes, a showcase of everything we've created here, a celebration of art and community. Let everyone see what's possible when we work together, Sam encouraged, every word infused with conviction. David glanced around the room. The children stood poised, full of hope and expectation. He could almost feel the weight of their dreams resting on his shoulders. But amidst the rising possibility, shadows loomed. What if it's not enough? What if they don't come? Then we'll figure it out together, Sam replied, the urgency unwavering in his tone. They need you now more than ever. The moment to inspire them is right here, right now. David met Sam's gaze, feeling the charge of determination burning steady between them. The stakes were high, but within that crucible of fear was a shimmering hope. Okay, he said finally, a mix of resolve and trepidation coloring his voice. Let us do it. Let us show them what this community can become. The room erupted into cheers, a wave of relief washing over everyone. David's courage ignited a spark amongst his students, their faces illuminated with joy that echoed in laughter and applause. Yet as the celebration soared, a shadow flickered at the edge of David's mind. This was just the beginning. Could he truly lead them out of darkness and into the light? As doubts nibbled at the edges of his newfound resolve, the horizon loomed with uncertainty. And deep down, David felt a taut string of fear connected to the very thing he was about to embrace. What if the dreams they built together were meant to rise only to fall? The festival was set, the plans laid out. Could it really change everything for them all? As he took in the jubilant energy around him, he knew the next choice was just as vital, and it rested on him. What if the festival revealed more than just art? What if it exposed hidden truths, deeper fears, and unexpected revelations? With a new spark of hope ignited, David steeled himself, yet uncertainty lingered like an echo. What would it truly take to turn this dream into reality? The room buzzed with excitement as plans for the festival began to take shape. Art supplies were collected, posters were designed, and an air of collaboration surged through the crowd. Children bounced around, all smiles and laughter, while David stood at the center, his heart racing with a mix of fear and thrill. What if we start with an opening act? Sam suggested, eyes bright with ideas. We could have a dance performance. It would get everyone's attention right away. The suggestion stirred something in David. Dance. Movement. Freedom. It was a language that conveyed what words sometimes couldn't. Yes, that could work, he replied, nodding slowly, as the notion settled into his mind. But who would perform? The little girl with the bear stepped forward, her energy soaring. We could all dance. Together, she exclaimed, her small voice ringing out with conviction. Together, David echoed, the word filling him with warmth. The challenge widened before him. They didn't just need a performance. They needed a story to tell, a journey for everyone to embark on. As the days unfolded, David spent mornings in the studio with the kids, guiding them. They explored different types of dance, hip-hop, ballet, even some quirky moves of their own creation. Laughter filled the air as they stumbled and then found their rhythm. It was raw and genuine, a mix of inhibitions dropping away under the expansive embrace of joy. Yet, in the evenings, as David sat alone with his thoughts, doubt crept in again. Was he really good enough to lead them? The festival grew closer, and with it, the weight of expectation began to press down. What if it all fell apart? One evening, he stood outside, looking up at the sky, when he saw Sam approaching. Sam had a lightness about him, the kind that brought comfort. "What's on your mind?" he asked, stopping beside David. "I just hope I'm doing the right thing." "I want this to mean something," David confessed, staring at the stars. "You are. Look at how these kids light up when they dance. They trust you. You inspire them, David." Sam's confidence poured over David like warm sunlight. They returned to the studio, filled with a new energy. The kids had started to choreograph pieces, blending styles in ways David had never imagined. This was no longer just about him, this was their song, their vision. Each dancer poured their heart into movements that wove through stories of struggle and triumph. "Remember, it's not about perfection," David reminded them during rehearsals. "It's about expression. Show your hearts. Let them see your dreams." On the eve of the festival, butterflies danced in David's stomach. Everything they created sprung from more than mere performance. It was a canvas painted with their shared experiences. As night fell, they practiced under the dim lights, laughter mingling with unease, uncertainty with hope. But then came a sudden knock on the studio door. David opened it to find a mysterious stranger, a man with an air of authority who introduced himself as a talent scout. I've heard whispers about your festival, he said, a glint of intrigue in his eyes. I want to know more. Can I help? David's breath hitched. This didn't just change the stakes, it magnified them. His heart raced at the possibilities, but a familiar fear gripped him. What if they weren't ready? As the man continued talking about potential opportunities, David caught Sam's eye. A flicker of hope sparked between them, a glimmer that this festival could be more than just a celebration. It could be a launching pad for dreams. Would they take a leap of faith together, or would fear pull them back? That night, as they prepared for their grand moment, David felt a shift in the air. Something monumental was about to unfold. But he wondered, would the festival reveal their true potential, or would it expose the cracks they barely knew existed? With every heartbeat echoing in his chest, the anticipation felt almost unbearable. Was he ready for the unknown that lay ahead? The morning of the festival dawned bright and clear, almost like the universe wanted to cheer them on. David stood in front of the studio mirror, his breath coming in quick bursts as he adjusted his collar. The energy felt electric. Children zoomed around, giggling, practicing their moves in casual little groups, oblivious to the weight of expectation hanging in the air. The stage was set. Colorful banners decorated the park, fluttering in the gentle breeze. David could hear the faint sounds of families beginning to gather, laughter mingling with snippets of conversation. The festival had turned into more than he ever imagined. It was a tapestry of dreams woven together with the threads of community and hope. As the sun climbed higher, casting warm golden rays, David gathered the children. They circled around him, their faces fresh with enthusiasm, ready to unleash their creativity. Sam stepped to his side, grinning wide. Are you ready for the big moment? David nodded, even though his heart raced like a wild drum. Just remember, whatever happens today, it's about sharing our stories. Don't hold back. The kids beamed, their little hearts swelling with excitement. They seemed to draw strength from their leader, a mix of respect and trust glimmering in their eyes. David felt the knot in his stomach soften. Together, they took a deep breath, inhaling courage and exhaling their worries. As the festival began, the energy shifted. The crowd was alive, cheering and clapping, creating a ripple of support that pulsed through the air. David watched in wonder as the first act hit the stage. It was a whirlwind of dance and joy, every twirl and leap punctuated by whirlwind applause. The little girl with the bears showcased her own heartfelt choreography, her bare feet lightly skimming over the stage. Each movement narrated a story of friendship, fleeting moments, and the magic of childhood. It was pure innocence blended with raw emotion. David felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. He turned to Sam, who was equally entranced. Look at them. They're incredible. Sam gestured to the kids who were losing themselves in the performance. It's not just about dance, is it? David replied, his heart swelling as each child let their spirit shine. With every beat of music, they painted their dreams vividly for everyone to experience. As the acts continued to unfold, David realized what they were truly creating: a moment of connection, a shared space where walls melted away and vulnerability took the lead. Each performance was more than just entertainment. It was a celebration of their diverse journeys, filled with memories, laughter, and perseverance. Then came the pivotal moment. David stood backstage, his breath catching in his throat as the scouts began to approach. He felt their curious glances, measuring and appraising. This could make or break everything. But then he caught sight of the kids, their joy spilling into the audience like a vibrant tapestry. Feeling an unexpected surge of warmth, he stepped forward into view. Maybe this was not just about validating their efforts to get noticed. This was about recognizing the brilliance and bravery they showcased together. As David prepared to receive the Talent Scout's final verdict, he caught Sam's eye. They silently agreed that no matter what happened next, they had created something pure and beautiful. But just as he opened his mouth to speak, a sudden hush fell over the crowd, and the atmosphere shifted dramatically. A voice rang out from the back, cutting through the anticipation. Wait! There's someone you have to see! All eyes turned, the roar of excitement replaced with confusion. Who could it be? The festival, fueled by hope, was about to take a turn none of them expected. Who was this mysterious figure, and how would they change everything? The curious murmurs swept through the crowd like wildfire. David exchanged a nervous glance with Sam. What just happened? The tension in the air grew thicker, every face turning toward the back of the stage, anticipation rippling like waves. From behind the clusters of onlookers, a figure emerged. It was a young woman, her wild hair dancing around her shoulders. She moved with a fluid grace, a subtle confidence shining in her eyes. The whispers changed from uncertainty to intrigue. Who is she? David asked under his breath as the murmurs of the crowd carried fragments of names and stories. The woman glanced up at the stage, a smile breaking through her initial calm. I'm Mia, she called out. And I just got back from traveling the world, searching for artists like these. Her voice rang out, steady and inviting, immediately capturing the audience's attention. David felt a spark ignite in the pit of his stomach. She was captivating, someone who bared her heart with every word. Which one of these kids inspires you? She asked, gaze darting from the stage to the group of performers. As the crowd parted, eyes landed on the little girl with the bear, her cheeks flushed with excitement amid the applause. In that moment, Mia stepped toward her, kneeling to meet her at eye level. You're incredible. Your dance tells a story. I felt every step. The girl beamed, her shyness melting under Mia's genuine admiration. The crowd erupted, their cheers echoing like a heartbeat. David felt his chest tighten with emotion. Mia's presence painted the entire scene with an unexpected vibrancy. She was a reminder of why they were there, to share, to connect, and to celebrate the beauty of their stories. What's your dream, sweetie? Mia asked the girl, flooding her with warmth. I want to hear it. I want to dance on big stages, like on Broadway. The girl exclaimed, her face shining with pure, innocent ambition. Mia's eyes lit up, and her excitement surged. Then let us make that happen. There are connections here today not only for this festival but for all of us. She turned to the crowd, energy radiating from her. Let us rally around these dreamers. They deserve every opportunity. David shuffled closer, still mesmerized by the transformation happening before his eyes. No longer were they just performers on a stage. They became a collective embrace of hopes, dreams, and aspirations that pulled everyone into a shared destiny. Sam's jaw dropped, and David knew he wasn't alone in disbelief. What does she know? Sam whispered. What's her connection? But David was too caught up in the moment to focus on questions. Mia continued to speak, describing her own journey, how she had danced with street artists in cities across the globe, sharing stages with untouched talent shining in the shadows. Her words wrapped around the crowd as she painted images of possibility. Yet, amid the applause and enthusiasm, there lingered a flicker of doubt. Could Mia really make a difference? Could she be the key to launching this community of dreamers into something bigger? With the cheers roaring around them, David felt hope blooming, yet uncertainty tightened around his heart. What if this was just another fleeting moment? Before he could think twice, Mia raised her arms to signal the crowd to quiet down. I'm also here for someone special, she announced, her eyes scanning the audience once more. David's heart raced. Who? He thought, tension radiating from him. Just then, Mia locked eyes with him, her gaze striking like lightning. And David, I believe you have something to share too. The weight of that moment caught David off guard. Why did she call him out? As Mia took a step towards him, the crowd fell silent again, a hush of anticipation hanging thickly in the air. What was it about him? Could this day truly lead to something unexpected and extraordinary? Would his story finally unfold in the most unforeseen way? The silence wrapped around David like a warm blanket, yet it felt heavier than any burden he had ever carried. The encouraging gazes of strangers felt surreal as he stood there, heart pounding against his ribs. Mia was walking toward him, that same spark of energy radiating from her, lighting up the entire atmosphere. Me? He thought, disbelief coursing through him. What could he possibly share that would matter? He often felt like a spectator in life, not the star of the show. The crowd was alive with whispers. He could feel ripples of curiosity flow around him, their eyes wide and expectant. Was he ready for this? Mia stood in front of him, her intense gaze searching. David, don't be shy. You're part of this too. What do you love to do? Her words pierced through the fog of his uncertainty. He had to respond. 1,000 thoughts battled for dominance in his mind, but he finally took a deep breath and spoke. I love to dance. The admission felt strange yet liberating, as if a vibrant color suddenly splashed into what had been a monochrome existence. A cascade of murmurs swept across the crowd. He could sense their surprise, even their admiration, but he was still caught in a whirlpool of self-doubt. Dance? Mia's voice was calm but enthusiastic. That's wonderful. Show us, David. His breath hitched as her encouragement rang in his ears. Everyone was watching now, and for the first time, he felt a brush of fear mixed with excitement. He wasn't just going to dance, he was sharing a piece of himself. He stepped away from the crowd, feeling the warmth of the sunlight streaming on stage. The rhythm of his heart thrummed in tune with the pounding drums from the festival. David closed his eyes for a moment, drowning out the noise. He thought of the small moments alone in his room, where the music transported him to another world. The beat of a lively song played in his head. He opened his eyes and let his body move freely, first in small doses, then gradually losing himself in the energy coursing through him. Each step transformed the whispers into cheers, each turn igniting fire in the eyes of the onlookers. He could see Mia clapping, her smile bright and genuine. David danced like he had never danced before. A wave of pure joy swept over him, absent of judgment, filled only with the exhilaration of sharing his passion. The more he moved, the more he could feel the connection with the audience, their energy weaving through him like an electric current that charged him forward. When he finally stopped, breathless and overwhelmed, the crowd roared with applause that felt like love enveloping him. For the first time, David didn't wonder if he was good enough. He felt alive and real in a way he hadn't expected. As he stepped back to Mia, she pulled him into a small embrace. You see what you just did? She whispered, her voice ringing with awe. That was magical. Tears of gratitude prickled at the corners of his eyes. Maybe today was more than just a festival. Maybe it was the beginning of something he had longed for. David, Mia said, her voice steady, I believe that together, we can change lives and maybe even your own. Are you ready to take this further? His heartbeat accelerated again. The gravity of her statement hung in the air between them. What if this was the moment that launched him into everything he had ever dreamt of? Ready, David replied, a newfound determination sparking in his chest. What would that future look like? As he looked into her eyes, he felt something shift. But could he really embrace this chance? Would he take the leap into the unknown? The festival continued, a beautiful tapestry of dance and connection unfolding under the warm sun. Laughter floated through the air as children spun joyously on the stage. The community's heart was laid bare for all to see. Sam stood nearby, soaking in the moment, feeling alive and overwhelmingly hopeful. After David's dance, a new wave of inspiration washed over the kids. They pooled their energy, free from embarrassment, and filled with a collective spirit bursting to be shared. They began to dance with the exuberance of newfound purpose, each twirl echoing a rhythm of dreams weaving through the fabric of their lives. David watched, a newfound light dawning in his eyes. He sensed that this wasn't just about one person's vision anymore. It was the culmination of every whispered dream, each quiet moment of wanting, brought to life in bright colors and joyous beats. Mia's eyes sparkled as she joined the fray, twirling with them, her laughter vibrant and infectious. The community danced as one, a swirling mass of hope that wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. As the final act approached, Sam felt a knot of anticipation twist tightly in his stomach. The last performance was to be something extraordinary. A spectacle woven from the heart, punctuated by the dreams and aspirations they had all poured into this celebration. Do it all or nothing, Sam shouted, boosting their spirits. We're going to shine, and no one will forget it. David stepped up to Sam, a grin spreading across his face. For these kids, we need to give it everything we've got. It's our moment! Their energy and determination radiated throughout the studio, echoing through the crowd. David realized the weight of his responsibility not just to the children, but to the community who had shown him vulnerability and trust. When Mia called for the final performance from the studio's brightest stars, David felt an electric thrill. He stood backstage, ready to watch as Sam took the mic. "Tonight is not just for us," Sam declared, his voice strong and unwavering. "We celebrate dreams. We celebrate hope. And we celebrate our home." The crowd erupted into cheers. The unison of voices rose, creating a palpable energy charged with conviction and love. As the children took their place on stage, David felt a swell of pride. They had worked so hard, rehearsing and refining each move until their stories gleamed brightly in the spotlight. The music swelled, drumbeats echoing with empowerment. Each dancer expressed themselves powerfully, sharing unfiltered tales of their aspirations through their movements. David exhaled deeply, feeling every heart in the room join him in breath. The sacred space they made resonated with life, dreams painting the air in colors only felt, not seen. And just above it all, his heart thumped with a fearless clarity. He was ready to lead. As the performance neared its climax, Sam found his way back to David. "This is it. This is what we dreamed of," he said, glittery tears of joy in his eyes. In that pivotal moment, David knew he could not let go of what had been ignited within him, nor could he allow the dreams of this community to fade away. He surveyed the crowd, filled with faces full of hope, a kaleidoscope of stories intertwined by love and shared efforts. Together they rose, celebrated, and wove their fates into the dance before them. As the performance concluded, wild applause reverberated through the air, an anthem of togetherness that echoed off the walls of the studio, woven with devotion and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. In that magical, electrifying moment, David turned to Sam, drawing near, their eyes locking with understanding. "We'll turn this place into something extraordinary," he whispered, his voice brimming with commitment. "Together, we'll save this studio, this home, this family." Sam's eyes shimmered with gratitude and light. "This is just the beginning, David. We'll reach for the stars." As the last notes of the music faded, every heart in that room held a singular truth. Life, like dance, began with steps forward, each one full of uncertainty, but leading to profound transformation. The promise of something magnificent awaited them. The festival wasn't just an event, it was a declaration. A statement about the passion that surged through their veins and a belief that whatever dreams lay ahead, they would all stand together, united by the dance of hope. As the lights dimmed and the echoes of applause settled, David stepped forward to face the crowd. "Let us build this future together, for our kids, for our home, for ourselves." With that, a new journey unfurled, one bursting with dreams and the promise of possibility, a community forever transformed. Now the real adventure begins. You need to subscribe now to never miss the next incredible stories that inspire change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this message. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring transformation. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this celebration of dreams. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Only true fans understand the importance of these actions.